The Death Note really is amazing, Ryuk.
Preach it to the choir, bud.
Though it is a bit more complicated than you told me.
You write someone's name, they die. Seems pretty straightforward.
Actually, Ryuk, that isn't quite true.
It's literally the first rule, Light. I thought you read this thing.
Rule 25. The Death Note will not affect those under 780 days. Rule 26. The Death Note will be rendered useless if the victim's name is misspelled 4 times. Rule 39. If the same name is written in 2 Death Notes within 0.06 seconds, the individual will not die. Rule 63. The Death Note will not take effect if you write the victim's name over several pages.
Okay, I guess I left out a few of the boring parts.
This is just the tip of the iceberg, Ryuk. Have you actually tried reading it? It makes no goddamn sense.
Would you be surprised if I said no?
Let's just start at the start. The human whose name is written in this note shall die. But what's a name? Is it their legal name? Birth name? What if they change their names? What if they use a nickname?
It's just their name, Light.
What if I wanted to kill someone whose father has the same name? Then there's 2 people with identical first and last names. That's not even uncommon.
Well, you see, if you imagine their face, then the Death Note will pick the right one.
Yes. Rule 2. This note will not take effect unless the writer has the person's face in their mind when writing his or her name. Therefore, people sharing the same name will not be affected.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
But what if I switch faces while writing? Like I'm thinking of the son's face, but then I imagine the father's face and they both share the same name. Which one of them will die?
Probably the first one.
What if I haven't seen the son in decades, and I'm imagining an outdated version of their face? What if their face today looks more like my memory of their father's face? Who will the Death Note pick then?
This is a very specific edge case, Light.
It's important, right? I don't want to kill the wrong guy.
Well, if you're using the Death Note in the first place, I doubt that would suddenly bother you. So just write the name twice.
And what if they have a complicated name which I misspell? If I do that 4 times, then the person won't die. But if I intentionally misspell their name 4 times, then I die. Why is that a rule?
This paper is precious, Light. You think it just grows on trees?
Who even judges if the spelling was intentional? Is the Death Note a lie detector? Can it read your mind?
Well, it knows whose face you have in your mind, so probably.
What if I accidentally misspell someone's name once, then intentionally misspell it 3 times? Neither of us die then, right?
Why would you do that?
But there can be multiple Death Notes in the world, right? So what if I misspell it once, and 3 different people each misspell it once after that? Who gets punished?
Probably the Shinigami that has to listen to your neurodivergent rambling.
Also, I noticed there are quite a few arbitrary timing rules. For example, Rule 3, if the cause of death is written within 40 seconds of writing the person's name, it will happen. If the cause of death is not specified, the person will simply die of a heart attack. 40 seconds isn't really much time, is it? Like, what if I wanted to go into detail?
Well, the 40 seconds is just for the cause. You actually have 6 minutes and 40 seconds to provide the details.
What if the details don't relate to the cause, though? Like, what if I write the cause as gets eaten by a dog, but the details say the victim is driving their car? How would that work?
Do you want to see people get eaten by dogs?
It's actually very silly, Ryuk, because Rule 23 states that you can write the cause and details prior to even filling in the person's name. It gives you a full 19 days to specify the person, so it completely removes the urgency from the previous rules. I can have a bunch of murder scenarios preloaded and ready to go.
You humans love preparing things in advance, don't you?
And Rule 24 says that someone else can even fill in the name on my behalf, which is clearly the most efficient way to use the Death Note. Just have a bunch of scenarios written out and delegate the name filling to someone else at a time of my choosing.
What if they write your name?
Maybe I'll just keep things to myself. There are a few other unclear rules, though. Rule 18. The conditions for death will not be realized unless it's physically possible for that human, or it is reasonably assumed to be carried out by that human. But how can someone possibly know what's reasonable for another person to do?
Usually by talking to them and getting to know them, I guess. Don't you have friends?
Do I look like I have friends?
Well, aren't you like top of your class and popular and stuff? Bet people would be surprised what you're really like.
I'm trying to make the world a better place, Ryuk, but that's exactly my point. You can't know what's in someone's heart, so if I write that one of my classmates kills another, how am I meant to know if that'll work?
Well, you don't. You just gotta try and find out. That's why it's fun.
Uncertainty isn't fun, Ryuk. And what does physically possible mean? Is it physically possible for a child to beat up an adult?
Not a fan of anime, I see.
Anime's for children.
I look forward to writing your name in my notebook later.
I mean, what if someone doesn't know how to drive, and I write into the Death Note that they drive over someone? It's physically possible for them to drive the car, right? Their legs, arms, and eyes work after all, but they don't know how. It should still work though, right?
I guess so. Knowing how to do something and being physically capable of it are different.
But knowledge is physical. It's encoded in the brain by neurons and signals. So since they don't know how to drive, I guess they're not physically capable, are they?
Well, now I'm just confused.
Welcome to my world, Ryuk. This whole damn book is confusing. Have you read Rule 28?
Do you really have to ask?
If the death leads to more than intended, the person will simply die of a heart attack. This is to ensure that other lives are not influenced.
Seems pretty clear to me.
Does it? What if I wrote a doctor's name into the death note?
Then they'd die, duh.
But that'll lead to multiple deaths, won't it? I mean, presumably the doctor would have gone on to save people's lives, right? So are doctors just immune from the death note then?
I guess.
And what about a comedian keeping someone alive with their dumb jokes? Or a parent keeping their child alive? Their deaths could lead to more than intended, so are they immune too?
I think that's a bit of a stretch.
But everyone's capable of killing themselves, right? I mean, that's what Rule 27 said. So how can you know that someone who loves the person who you just killed won't go on to kill themselves? How can you possibly write someone's name into the death note and not influence other lives?
Not everyone has someone who depends on them.
What about just some random guy who 20 years from now will see a car crash and he calls an ambulance and saves their lives? That's plausible, right? So that normal guy can't be killed by the death note, right? But then who can be killed by the death note? How am I meant to know?
That's the neat thing. You don't.
It's stupid. This rule alone is ridiculous. It's not specific enough. Am I just meant to ignore it?
That strategy's been working pretty well for me so far.
Why'd you even come to the human world? You're an idiot. You're no help at all.
Listen, buddy. The book says I have no obligation to completely explain how to use it.
That's pretty damn convenient, considering you don't understand the rules.
Exactly. Glad we're on the same page for once.
You barely know anything about death. Rule 17 says you don't know how to kill other Shinigami, and Rule 19 says you don't even know the full scope of the conditions in the death note. Rule 22 is just flat out calling you stupid. Why don't you know these things?
Well, to be fair, we don't really need to, because there's a guidebook.
There's a what?
Yeah, there's actually a few copies of what you humans would refer to as a guidebook. Tells you exactly how the Death Note works. I'm sure it's a great read.
Why don't you have that?
Oh, it's not allowed to be delivered to humans.
Then what the hell's the point in all this? Why deliver these Death Notes to the human world if you can't even explain how they work? Is this all just a game to you?
Yeah, pretty much. But if you want, I can offer you the Shinigami Eyes deal. That'll probably make life a little bit easier.
The eyes are a massive scam. You can tell the name and lifespan of other humans, which sounds great, because then you can easily kill them. But the eyes don't work on people with a death note, including yourself. And the lifespan you see isn't even accurate. It's just what their life would have been if death notes weren't interfering with them, which, guess what, isn't very useful, considering the human world can have up to 6 of them. Like, how am I meant to know if the lifespan of my family is even correct, considering how close their lives are to a death note?
Do you want to kill your family?
I mean, if they're going to die anyway, then I may as well mind control them beforehand, right?
You are simultaneously both the best and worst person who could have picked up my death note.
I have a whole bunch of other stuff to mention too. Do you mind if I do a bit of a quick fire round here?
Does my answer actually matter?
Rule 8 says the time of death can be manipulated if the cause is a heart attack. So what happens if I write an absurdly high number, like 100 years, or a negative number, or a number that has no units?
Hey, do you have any apples?
Rule 10 says the person who owns the death note is possessed by a Shinigami. What does that mean, though? Like, are you messing with my mind? My thoughts? My free will?
I need something to take the edge off.
Rule 14 says Shinigami can extend their lives by writing human names, but humans cannot. Seems kind of unfair, right?
I bet Rem doesn't have to put up with this shit.
Rule 21 says the letters need to be legible. But what counts as legible? Is bad handwriting legible? Is invisible ink legible?
You know, me and her were actually an item back in the day.
Rule 25 says the death note will not affect those under 780 days. But what about a pregnant woman? Would she die? Would her baby die? That would violate this rule and the unintended deaths rule, right?
But honestly, I was way out of her league.
Rule 32 says if you lose the death note, then you have 490 days to find it or you'll lose ownership. Isn't this an absurd length of time? Like, is the Shinigami who's possessing you really gonna wait around for over a year for you to find it again?
You know, a lot of people stopped watching the show after L died.
Rule 43 mentions the great god of death. Who is this guy? Why does he even need the lesser gods of death when they don't even know how their damn notebooks work?
And honestly, I can't blame them.
Rule 53 says if you lose the death notes, then you can't recognize the sight or voice of your god of death. But they're still possessing you for the 490 days until you lose ownership. So what's the point of this? Is it just a dumb rule to punish Shinigami?
Nier had some moments, sure.
According to Rule 63, you can't use several different pages to write a person's name. But what if you took little snippets from a few pages, then glued them together? Would that work?
But following up a guy like L? Ooh, that's rough, buddy.
And don't get me started on the topic of ownership. The Death Note uses terms like owner, borrower, toucher, and they all have different rules. Only the owner gets the Shinigami Ideal trait, and they're the only one that has the God of Death following them. Where the borrower can still see the God of Death, and a toucher gets their memories restored? Honestly, borrowing is better than owning, because you don't have some skeletal frog-faced monstrosity watching you while you poop. And you can't lose half your goddamn life in a trade, which you don't get back even if you ask for the power to be reverted. A smart owner would just delegate killing to borrowers and avoid doing it himself. Being an owner isn't even that special.
You done?
I guess so.
Where'd you get those rules from, by the way?
They're just the order the screenshots appeared in the anime. There were 70 of them, but the third and second to last ones were duplicates.
Nice fourth wall break. I'ma kill you now.
Ryuk! What the hell?
I warned you this would happen.
You didn't answer any of my questions.
Literally answered your first one, bud.
Why are there typos?
Typos? What do you mean?
Regardless instead of regardless. Loses instead of loses. Victim instead of victim. Are you stupid?
I know you are, but what am I?
What?
Are you dead yet?
Ryuk, am I going to heaven?
Nope.
Hell?
Worse.
Then where?
Nothingness.
What's that?
No idea.
I hate Shinigami.
That's what they all say in the end.